What if I told you that the woman a federal jury would eventually convict of sex trafficking a minor was the daughter of one of the most powerful media moguls in the Western world? A man who, when he died on November 5th, 1991, left behind not just a grieving family, but one of the largest corporate frauds in British history. Hundreds of millions of pounds stolen from his own employees' pension funds. His youngest daughter was left with a shattered name, an empty fortune, and a desperate need for a powerful protector. Within months, she found one. His name was Jeffrey Epstein, and what she built alongside him over the next 2 decades would eventually be described by federal prosecutors as a conspiracy to sexually exploit children. Stay till the end of this episode, because what emerged in a courtroom in Lower Manhattan in December 2021 reveals exactly how she operated. Not from the shadows, but from the center. I'm Mark Epstein, and this is the Epstein Files. Her full name is Ghislaine Noël Marion Maxwell. Born December 25, 1961, in Maison Lafitte, France, the youngest of 9 children born to Robert Maxwell and Elizabeth Maynard Maxwell. Source: Maxwell Trial Proceedings, Case 20 CR 330, SDNY, Public Biographical Records. Her father, born Jan Ludwig Hyman Benjamin Hoch in Czechoslovakia, had reinvented himself as Robert Maxwell, British war hero, member of parliament, and eventually one of the most formidable media barons in Europe. At the height of his power, Robert Maxwell controlled Mirror Group newspapers, Macmillan Publishers, Pergamon Press, and the New York Daily News. His estimated wealth ran into the hundreds of millions. Source: Mirror Group newspapers records, parliamentary records, corporate filings, UK financial reporting. Ghislaine grew up in Headington Hill Hall, a sprawling 53-room estate in Oxford, England, leased to the Maxwell family by Oxford City Council. She was educated at Oxford University. She moved in the highest circles of British society. She was, by every account, her father's favorite child. Pause. Source: UK property records, biographical reporting, Oxford University alumni records. And then, on November 5th, 1991, everything collapsed. Pause. Robert Maxwell's body was recovered from the Atlantic Ocean near the Canary Islands. He had fallen from his yacht, a vessel named pointedly the Lady Ghislaine. Pause. Spanish authorities initially ruled the death an accidental drowning. Source: Spanish autopsy report, November 1991. International press reporting, coroner proceedings. But within weeks of his death, a far larger scandal engulfed the Maxwell name. Investigators discovered that Robert Maxwell had looted approximately £440 million from the Mirror Group pension funds. Money that belonged to thousands of ordinary employees. The Maxwell business empire imploded. The family name became synonymous with fraud and deception across Britain. Source: UK Department of Trade and Industry investigation. Mirror Group pension fund inquiry. British press reporting, 1991-1992. Ghislaine Maxwell, suddenly stripped of her father, her fortune and her social standing, left London. Pause. By approximately late 1991 or early 1992, she had relocated to New York City. Source: Immigration records referenced in Maxwell trial proceedings, biographical reporting, Vanity Fair, March 2003. And it was there in Manhattan that she met Jeffrey Epstein. Pause. But here's where it gets disturbing. Pause. The exact circumstances and precise date of how Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein first connected remain a matter of some ambiguity. What is clear from court records is that by the early to mid-1990s, their relationship, initially described by some as romantic, had evolved into something prosecutors would characterize as a criminal partnership. Source: Government's case presentation, Case 20 CR 330 SDNY. Trial evidence, Jeffrey V. Maxwell depositions, Case 15 CV 07433. According to the superseding indictment in United States of America versus Ghislaine Maxwell, case number 20 CR 330, United States District Court, Southern District of New York, the charged criminal conduct spanned from approximately 1994 through at least 2004. Source: Pacer, superseding indictment, case 20 CR 330 SDNY. That means prosecutors alleged that within roughly 2 to 3 years of her father's death and her arrival in New York, Ghislaine Maxwell was already participating in what the government described as a scheme to entice and transport minors for illegal sexual activity with Jeffrey Epstein. Pause. Consider the timeline. Pause. November 1991. Robert Maxwell dies. The pension fund scandal erupts. Ghislaine's world collapses. Late 1991 to early 1992. Ghislaine relocates to New York. Approximately 1992 to 1993. She and Epstein are linked socially and romantically. By 1994, according to the federal indictment, the criminal conduct begins. Source: timeline constructed from superseding indictment, case 20 CR 330. Biographical records, immigration and travel records referenced in court proceedings. The prosecution's case, presented at trial before the Honorable Judge Allison J. Nathan, painted a detailed picture of Maxwell's role. She was not, prosecutors argued, merely Epstein's companion or social partner. She was the mechanism, the recruiter, the normalizer, the person who made young girls feel safe before delivering them into Epstein's hands. And the evidence came not just from prosecutors' arguments, but from the mouths of the victims themselves. The witness identified at trial as Jane testified that she was first introduced to Epstein and Maxwell in approximately 1994, when she was about 14 years old. According to her testimony, Maxwell befriended her at a summer camp, showing warmth and interest. Jane described how this relationship evolved into a pattern of sexual abuse by Epstein. Abuse that Maxwell, she testified, not only facilitated but at times directly participated in. Source: Maxwell trial transcripts, testimony of Jane, case 20 CR 330, SDNY, approximately late November, early December 2021. Think about what that means. 1994. The very first year identified in the indictment. The victim was 14, and the person who found her, befriended her, and brought her to Epstein was Ghislaine Maxwell. Annie Farmer, one of the few accusers who testified at the Maxwell trial under her real name, told the jury about being invited to Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in Stanley, New Mexico in 1996 when she was 16 years old. Farmer testified that Maxwell was present at the ranch and that Maxwell was involved in a disturbing incident of unwanted physical contact. Source: Maxwell trial transcripts, testimony of Annie Farmer, case 20 CR 330, SDNY, December 2021. Annie Farmer's older sister, Maria Farmer, had separately reported sexual assault by both Epstein and Maxwell to the FBI and the NYPD in 1996. Reports that, as we covered in episode 7, were not acted upon at that time. Source: Maria Farmer FBI report, 1996, Miami Herald, perversion of justice. The witness identified as Kate testified about being recruited by Maxwell in approximately 1994 in London. Kate described how Maxwell cultivated the relationship, introduced her to Epstein, and normalized the sexual contact that followed. Source: Maxwell trial transcripts, testimony of Kate, case 20 CR 330, SDNY, December 2021. And Carolyn, another trial witness, testified about being recruited into Epstein's orbit in Palm Beach, Florida, beginning at approximately age 14 in the early 2000s. Carolyn described a system in which she was paid to recruit other young girls. And Maxwell, she testified, was an integral part of the operation at the Palm Beach residence. Source: Maxwell Trial Transcripts, Testimony of Carolyn, Case 20, CR 330, SDNY, December 2021. 4 accusers, spanning from 1994 to the early 2000s, spanning from New York to New Mexico, to Palm Beach to London. And in every account, every single one, Ghislaine Maxwell was present, not as a bystander, as a participant. Now, if you're still here, it means you can handle the truth. So let me show you what they didn't want you to see. Juan Patricio Alessi, the former house manager at Epstein's Palm Beach estate at 358 El Brillo Way, took the witness stand during the Maxwell trial in late November 2021. Alessi had worked for Epstein from approximately 1990 to 2002. His testimony provided a rare insider's view of how the household operated and of Maxwell's authority within it. Source: Maxwell Trial Transcripts, Testimony of Juan Alessi, Case 20 CR 330, SDNY, approximately late November 2021. Alessi described Maxwell as the lady of the house. He testified that she managed the domestic staff, directed household operations, and maintained a level of control over the residence that went far beyond a typical partner or guest. He described how young women were brought to the home and how he was instructed to maintain discretion about what occurred there. Source: Maxwell Trial Transcripts, Testimony of Juan Alessi, Case 20 CR 330, SDNY. But the most revealing documents about what Maxwell knew, what she claimed, and how she described her own role came from an earlier proceeding. The civil case Virginia Giuffre vs. Ghislaine Maxwell. Case number 15 CV07433, filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Source: Pacer. Case 15 CV07433. SDNY. Virginia Giuffre, formerly Virginia Roberts, had sued Maxwell for defamation after Maxwell publicly denied Giuffre's allegations. In the course of that litigation, Maxwell sat for depositions in 2016. These depositions were conducted under oath. Portions were unsealed beginning in 2019 and continuing through subsequent court orders into 2020 and beyond. Source: Pacer. Deposition transcripts. Case 15 CV07433, SDNY, court orders for unsealing. In those depositions, Maxwell denied, repeatedly and categorically, virtually every allegation. She denied knowledge of Epstein's abuse. She denied participating in any recruitment of young women. She denied being aware of any sexual conduct involving minors. She denied her own involvement in any sexual acts with any of the accusers. Source: Maxwell Deposition Transcripts, 2016, Case 15 CV07433, SDNY, partially unsealed 2019-2020. These denials were so sweeping that they became the basis for additional federal charges. The superseding indictment in Case 20 CR 330 included 2 counts of perjury, charging that Maxwell had lied under oath during those very depositions. Source: Pacer. Superseding indictment, Case 20 CR 330, SDNY, perjury counts. And then there was the money. During the Maxwell trial, the government presented financial evidence showing that Jeffrey Epstein had transferred substantial sums to Ghislaine Maxwell over the course of their relationship. According to evidence presented to the jury, Epstein transferred approximately $30 million or more to Maxwell between the late 1990s and the mid-2000s. That figure is critical because it demonstrates that the relationship between Maxwell and Epstein was not merely personal, it was financial. She was compensated over years. in amounts that placed her among the primary financial beneficiaries of Jeffrey Epstein's operation. Maxwell lived in properties connected to Epstein. She traveled on his aircraft. The flight logs subpoenaed from Epstein's pilots list her name repeatedly across years of travel. Between New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and international destinations. Source: subpoenaed flight logs, referenced in Case 20 CR 330 and Case 15 CV 07433. Pilot testimony, Maxwell trial. Larry Vysotsky, who served as Epstein's primary pilot for approximately 25 years, testified at the Maxwell trial. Vysotsky confirmed Maxwell's frequent presence on flights and described her as one of the most constant figures in Epstein's inner circle. Source: Maxwell trial transcripts, testimony of Larry Vysotsky, Case 20 CR 330, SDNY, approximately late November 2021. This is where the official story falls apart. For years, the public narrative around Ghislaine Maxwell was that she was an ex-girlfriend who maintained a friendship with Epstein, a socialite, a hostess, an eccentric British woman who moved in elite circles. But the evidence presented at trial, and the jury's verdict, tells a fundamentally different story. On December 29, 2021, after approximately 40 hours of deliberation spread across 5 full days, the jury in United States v. Ghislaine Maxwell returned its verdict, guilty on 5 of 6 counts. Count 1. Conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. Guilty. Count 3. Conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Guilty. Count 4. Transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Guilty. Count 5. Sex trafficking conspiracy. Guilty. Count 6. Sex trafficking of a minor. Guilty. Source: PACER. Verdict: Case 20 CR 330 SDNY, December 29, 2021. DOJ press release, December 29, 2021. She was acquitted on count 2, enticement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, relating to one specific accuser. But on every other count, the jury found the evidence sufficient beyond a reasonable doubt. On June 28, 2022, Judge Allison J. Nathan sentenced Ghislaine Maxwell to 20 years in federal prison. Source: PACER. Sentencing. Case 20 CR 330 SDNY, June 28, 2022. DOJ press release. 20 years for crimes that spanned a decade, involving girls as young as 14. But here is the question this episode leaves with you. The superseding indictment charged conduct from approximately 1994 through 2004. Maxwell was not arrested until July 2, 2020, apprehended by FBI agents at a property in Bradford, New Hampshire, where she had been living in seclusion. Source: DOJ press release, July 2, 2020. FBI arrest records, PACER, Case 20 CR 330. That is a gap of 16 years between the end of the charged conduct and her arrest. And it is a gap of 24 years between the beginning of the charged conduct and the day she was taken into custody. During those years, Maxwell moved freely. She attended social events. She was photographed with prominent figures. She operated a charitable foundation. And, as Maria Farmer, Annie Farmer, Virginia Giuffre, and others have publicly stated, multiple reports had been made to law enforcement about both Epstein and Maxwell, long before either was brought to justice. Why did it take so long? Who decided, and at what levels of authority, that this case did not merit federal prosecution? What role did the 2007 non-prosecution agreement associated with case number 08-80736 play in shielding Maxwell? That agreement, negotiated under then U.S. Attorney R. Alexander Acosta, granted immunity not only to Epstein, but to potential co-conspirators. Whether Maxwell was covered by that immunity provision was a legal question that hovered over the case for years. Source: NPA text. These are questions with answers, answers buried in internal DOJ communications and prosecutorial memos. What we know, what the court record proves, is this? A woman arrived in New York after the spectacular collapse of her family's empire. Within 2 to 3 years, according to federal prosecutors, she was actively participating in the sexual exploitation of minors. She continued for at least a decade. She was compensated with tens of millions of dollars. She denied everything under oath. And she was not held accountable until nearly 3 decades after the first known victim report. Ghislaine Maxwell did not stumble into Jeffrey Epstein's operation. She helped build it. She was the recruiter, the groomer, the normalizer, and at times, the participant. And when the jury weighed that evidence against her denials, they did not believe her. As we move forward, Maxwell's name will appear again and again, in flight logs, in depositions, in property records. She is not a peripheral figure. She is central. A grieving daughter who became a predator. The powerful bury the truth. But paper has a longer memory than power. If this episode opened your eyes, hit subscribe and the bell icon, because every file matters. Comment below, how did Ghislaine Maxwell operate for over 2 decades without being charged? I read every single comment. Share this before it disappears from your feed. Next file, the victims speak. The testimonies that were buried, ignored, and silenced for years. From Palm Beach to Manhattan to the Virgin Islands, you will hear what they told law enforcement. And you will hear what law enforcement did or didn't do in response. I'm Mark Epstein, and I'll see you in the next file.